Hi, my name is Clarissa, and I am making this video because I want to introduce you to my friend Ashraf. He's a very dear friend of mine who is in Gaza. He and I are able to talk to each other nearly every day, which is something I don't take for granted, because it can be very challenging for him just to find a way to get his phone charged and to access the internet so that we can communicate. Because of these and many other challenges that he's facing that I'm not facing, I've been trying to find ways to help him reach more people and find more support for him and for his family as they try to survive in Gaza. I care about Ashraf deeply with a commitment that will last the rest of my life, and I hope that my words can bring him closer to you, and that this might also cause you to care about him and think about him and commit to doing what you can to also help him and his family. Ashraf is the middle child in a family with brothers and sisters on either side. He's a loving son, brother, uncle, and friend. He's the primary contact for his family's survival fundraising campaign, and he's been trying as hard as he can to raise enough support for his family of 18 people, which includes adults, children, and elders. And this has not been easy. He's doing everything he can to support them, and he worries a lot about them, especially his parents and the children in the family. He feels responsible for their well-being. Despite the many extreme hardships, despite having been very sick himself and having suffered many losses, which continue even now, and despite the harshness of the winter and the constant stress and weariness and exhaustion, Ashraf somehow finds a way to summon his strength and keep trying and keep hoping and keep believing in something better than what he has been forced to endure for so long now. I don't say this to romanticize or glamorize his efforts. He should not be having to do any of this. Such resilience should not be expected or normalized. He's had many choices taken away from him, and he is acting within the constraints of inhumane circumstances beyond his control. He's being asked every day to endure what no one should have to. I recognize this, and I want us to understand this. But I also want to recognize and express appreciation to him, to him, for everything he does and gives to his family, to his community, to us, every day. Before October 2023, Ashraf had gone to school for accounting, and he'd had his own store. He was a business owner, and his business had done very well. He was proud of his work, and he misses his independence and the security he found through his career. Ashraf loved the life he'd been building for himself, and he had many interests and hobbies and things he enjoyed doing. But it can be difficult for him to think about these things now, when every moment is focused on survival. Once when I asked him to tell me something he liked about himself, he told me that what he likes is that he is helpful, that being helpful to others is one of his favorite things. I recognize the truth of this. He tries to find a way to support those around him every day. He even supports me through his words and kindness and friendship. He has a beautiful, poetic soul, which is evident in the way he speaks and communicates. His words reflect his compassionate nature, a strength that also makes him vulnerable to experiencing feelings on a very deep level. He's sensitive and empathetic, and one of the hardest things for him is to see others suffering and not being able to alleviate their pain. Ashraf possesses a sincerity and a quiet strength that resonates with my heart, and his gentle sweetness and caring nature are clear in everything he says and does. Self-promotion is not something he knows how to devote himself to with comfort and ease, and using social media to grow a supportive base is not something that has come easily. Support garnered through social media interactions has not generated enough for his family. They've been struggling greatly, and I've been trying to help since the first moment we met, but it has been challenging to find enough support through online connections only. I often think about how unjust it is that people who have already experienced so much loss and injustice are put in this position of having to fundraise for their survival. And yet, without the funds raised through mutual aid and crowdfunding, things would be even worse because there hasn't been anything else providing support. So one of the things I'm trying to do, and I hope you'll help me, is fill in these gaps, overcome these barriers, help Ashraf and his family connect to more caring people who will commit to their survival. Currently, most of Ashraf's support comes from my local community, from people who have gotten to know him and his family through conversations with me and presentations I've been giving. This base of support has made a huge difference in their life, but we urgently need to expand it, and we are still seeking more help with this. And so this video is another attempt to try and expand this base of support and to grow our community of people who know and care about Ashraf, and to find more opportunities to help his family secure what they need to survive. There are currently 2 campaigns where you can support them materially. One is their primary survival campaign, which has been going on for a while now, where you can make direct donations online and sign up to become sustaining donors, contributing weekly or monthly. With all of the uncertainties they face, having reliable support through sustaining donors can help ease the emotional distress that stems from having nothing stable to count on. While I don't manage the funds or transfer the funds for this campaign, I'm also in regular contact with the person who does, and I'm a team member and editor, so I write for this campaign. I write for Ashraf's page. I post regular updates, and I share news with you on his behalf. And because I speak with him every day, I can assure you that your donations are helping him and his family. Something I try to explain to potential donors is that the amount shown on their campaign page does not reflect the amount of money that they have access to. Because this campaign has been running for a long time, the total amount raised so far reflects this. So transfers of funds are made regularly, usually in increments of several $100s at a time, because they're being used for survival, which means that they are often spent very soon after they're posted. So the funds that are reflected on the page are not the funds that are currently available. They are usually gone. For an average family in Gaza, $150 a day is minimum, is what is needed just for food and basic supplies. This does not include additional living expenses such as water, fuel, clothing, blankets, baby formula, diapers, or shelter. It also doesn't include the amount needed to fund special projects or expensive medical procedures or buy medicine. This is an amount that very few families ever come close to reaching. As a result, everyone in Ashraf's family is usually hungry and cold and sick and tired and surviving without their most basic needs being met. Because of the uncertainty and instability of trying to survive on the basis of these donations, and because Ashraf has a professional background as a businessman, and he is somebody who also wants to support his community, he is launching a second campaign. It's a special project-specific campaign in the hopes of raising enough funds where he can establish a tea and coffee shop cafe that will also provide a place to support university and other students who want to go there to study and work online. Ashraf is setting the initial target for this campaign at $16,000 to cover the costs of establishing the site, purchasing the necessary supplies and furnishings, infrastructure, related expenses. He's going to need access to power and water and the internet, in addition to cafe, food, beverages, supplies. It is a big undertaking. It's possible that he could begin this endeavor sooner if he even reaches a lower goal. His cost projections are estimates, and we've spoken about how the reality of what is needed fluctuates and changes every day, as everything in Gaza is changing every day. Everything Ashraf needs for this project is challenging to procure, and the challenge of raising enough funds is daunting. But despite this, he's determined to try. He wants to pursue something that motivates him to keep going, despite the many hardships and losses he and his family continue to experience. And he explained to me he's eager to create a space for students to support them as they continue their education, with prices that are suitable for everyone. I want Ashraf to have success with this endeavor. I know it will be challenging for him to find enough support, but I'm hoping if you're watching this video, it means that you will support him in this too. It's really difficult to try to plan and build something for the future when the present remains precarious and unstable. I admire him for trying to do this. I'll share one last thing with you now as I bring this video to its close. Those who are local to Whatcom County here in Washington State, Bellingham in particular, may have heard about or attended the 2 reading events we held during Read Palestine Week in late November, early December, in partnership with the Salish Sea Poetry Festival and the Whatcom Peace and Justice Center. Ashraf wrote 2 poems for us to read during that event. Both pieces are powerful and true in their beautiful expression and their honesty and depth. I've been telling people for over a year that Ashraf has a poetic soul. But it wasn't until these events that I'd ever actually read any of his poetry. Once I did, I was profoundly affected. I have been deeply honored to be able to share his work with my local community, and I will now read to you one of his poems. I will share with you this gift from him, in which he offers us an introduction to who he is, in his own words, in a way that is more powerful and complete than I could ever offer. I am Ashraf by Ashraf Hamad. I am Ashraf, a man who carries Gaza in his chest and carries a family of 18 hearts on his shoulders, as if I were the last pillar holding the house up. I am the one who learned to hide my fear in my pocket so my mother wouldn't see it, and to lift my head high even when hunger defeats me. At night, I do not sleep. I count my siblings' breath, fearing the cold might steal them before morning comes. I cover the children with whatever warmth is left, and then I cover my own soul with patience. Our tent is not a home, but a heart trying to stay alive. And the rain is not water. It is a new test of how long a human being can remain standing. I am Ashraf. I've never asked for a miracle. I only asked for a life that resembles the life of others, for enough food, and for a voice that reaches the world and does not get lost in the darkness. And yet, I swear I am still standing, still lifting my eyes to the sky, saying, tomorrow, no matter how far it is, I will take my family and lead them to a light that no one can extinguish. I am Ashraf, and this is my voice, the voice of a man worn out by everything, but broken by nothing.